Hello, it's good to be back. Today we have more intonation practice focusing on the major scale. So, in our last live lesson, we focused exclusively on pitch matching. And if you're brand new to singing or not sure if you can match pitch, I recommend checking that out later. Um, but I want to give you a few resources. I'm going to put them in the live chat. So, give me just a second to do that. The first is a list of the different major scales, just written out in pitches. The second is more of a graphic of those same major scales, also written out in pitches, but you'll see how to play those on the piano. And then the third resource here is from musictheory.net, and it's their lesson on the major scale. I'm always recommending that website as a resource because it's free and well done and, simple, but very useful for students who would like to learn more about music theory or how to read music. And you can do that for free. So, all right, jumping right in. The major scale, first, I'm just going to play it because chances are you already know what it sounds like. And of course, it comes back down as well. And like any scale, it repeats. So that was just one octave of the scale. But we could keep going. Okay, so the scale is just a collection of pitches, or really a collection of intervals in a specific order. An interval is the distance between two pitches, or the space between two pitches. And hello, Sheila and Carl. Good to see you all. Um, and I don't know how to pronounce. If you can write your name Alumile phonetically, then I can pronounce it correctly. But I didn't want to. I didn't want to butcher it. Okay, so that's the major scale. You're probably familiar with it if you grew up listening to Western music at all. The specific intervals within the major scale, I'm going to write them out for you and talk about what those are. So you might already know this, and you might have heard in the past. The interval pattern for a major scale goes like this: whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. And I just wrote it in the chat. A whole step is the interval that we sing in the song Happy Birthday. So if you sing Happy Birthday, just that hap and birth, 1, 2, that is the distance of a whole step. You also might hear that called a major second. Okay, so looking at that pattern, whole, whole, half. So we have one whole step. I'm using the C major scale to start because it's easy. It's all white keys, no sharps or flats. So the first step is from C to D. Hear that interval? Happy birth. The next step is from D to E. Happy birth. Okay, so far we have C, D, E. Then we have something called a half step that sounds like this. It's smaller than a whole step. It's actually the smallest interval that we have in Western music. And if you're looking at a piano keyboard, which I encourage you to do, by the way, you can go to virtualpiano.net and you can be looking at the pitches that I'm playing. Um, so if you're looking at a piano or playing a piano, a half step, also called a minor second, is the smallest distance between any two keys. So if I'm playing anything, if I find one key, I'll choose one at random. So the key I just chose was A4. If I go to the very next key touching it, that would be the black key right directly to the right and above it. That's going from A to A sharp or A to B flat. That's a half step. It's also a half step if I'm going in the opposite direction from A to the black key directly to the left of it. So that's the difference between an ascending half step and a descending half step. Okay, going back to our major scale. So we have whole steps, and then we have our first half step from E to F. Most people memorize this interval in particular by thinking of the Jaws theme. Da, 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 da. By the way, I'm playing in the octave that is easy for me to sing, but eventually I'm going to play in another octave as well. So I will be playing when it's time to sing in 2 octaves. And that's so that people with lower voices can have an easy time singing along as well. But for now, for simplicity's sake, because I don't want you to get confused with those 2 different octaves, I'm just staying in the upper octave. So, okay, we have whole, half, and we have 3 whole steps in a row. That takes us from F to G, from G to A. And notice you can sing happy birthday over and over just to find that. From A to B. And then from B to C, we have our last half step. All together. First half step, whole steps, last half step. We're starting with C because there are no sharps or flats. In other words, we don't have to worry about the black keys. It's very easy. We're just walking through the alphabet. If you're new to the musical alphabet, I just want to point out there are 7 letters. It does start at A, goes to G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we start over at A again. So if you were confused, you were with me maybe walking through C, D, E, F, G, and then I said A, that might have been confusing for you. But that's how we name the pitches of the musical alphabet. So goes from A to G, starts over at that point. And another thing to point out that I think is very important for singers to understand is in addition to the pitch letter names, we also have octave numbers, and those start over at every C. I know. It would have been nice if they both started over at A. I am with you 100%. But those will start over at every C. So the pitches I've been playing so far are called C4, D4, E4. All of them are fours. So F, G, A, B4. And then the very next C I play is C5. So just throwing that out there, if anyone has told their vocal range to you and you've been confused, why are there letters and numbers? That's why they're naming pitch letter names and octave numbers. All right. So let's do a little bit of listen and repeat. I'm going to sing a few steps of the scale. I'll have you sing them back to me. And when I say a few, I just mean 2 at the start. So I'm going to sing 1, 2, and you'll sing back with the piano. And then I'll sing 3, 4. You'll sing. And we'll keep going up the scale. Then we'll come back down as well. Okay, so we're numbering these steps in our scale very simply from 1 to 8. So altogether, that scale is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now that's a little bit controversial. We could say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1, because that pattern is going to repeat. And typically, we're not going to count too far above 8. Might count to 9, but typically we're saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 1. So we can oh my goodness. Can continue on up. 1, 2, 3, and so on. Wow. Please, someone try saying the words can continue quickly. And if you also struggle, then I won't feel so alone. Okay. So here's where I'm going to start playing in 2 octaves for you. I'm playing in the 4th octave and the 3rd. If you're not sure which to try, what you can do is try matching one of those pitches or and then use a chromatic tuner to see which one you're matching. In general, higher voices or voices that sound kind of similar to mine are going to have an easier time up here. Lower voices, you might already just naturally be singing down in that lower octave. So, okay, if you have never used a chromatic tuner, easy one would be tuner.ninja. You just need to give it access to your microphone, but it's quick and easy and free to use. So, if you would like, go ahead and do that. It's just a website, not an app, and you can determine which pitch it is that you're singing. Are you singing C4 or C3? So here we go. Listen and repeat. There's your starting pitch. Listen first. 1, 2, sing. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Let's go back in the opposite direction. This time we're starting at 8. So if you sang along in my octave, you're starting at C5. If you were 1 octave lower, you're starting on C4 this time. Here we go. 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's see how we do without me playing on piano for you. Okay, so listen and repeat, but just voices. Get your starting pitch. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Nice. How do you think you did? If you're not sure, straightening out the little windscreen, if you're not sure, you can continue to sing along using that chromatic tuner to track your pitch as you're going up. And if you have one of those websites open that I linked in the very beginning, then you'll know the pitches that you are going for. So if you're looking at either the pianomusictheory.com or pianoscales.org/major, either one, that's giving you those pitches, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And that's a way that you can confirm whether or not you're singing in tune. Not everyone has that ability innately. Some people are lucky and they know when they're singing in tune and when they're not. Other people can't tell. And so if you're not sure which you are and you've never been in a voice lesson or had someone tell you, yeah, you're matching pitch well, or, oh, this is a skill you need to work on, then I highly recommend working with a chromatic tuner or an app like that so that you can make sure. The last thing I would want is for you to be singing along and you're not matching pitch and you have no idea. That's tricky. Okay, so the thing with the major scale is that interval pattern, the whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half, regardless of the pitch you start on, that pattern stays the same. So if, for example, look at the pianoscales.org/major, that website, and I'll put it here again in case you weren't here at the very beginning. Look over to the very next one, D major, D, E, F sharp, G, A, B, C sharp, D. And Andy is saying, I can actively adjust my pitch while looking at the tuner app. So it might take a second to recognize your pitch. That's one issue. The other issue that you might run into using the tuner app while watching this video is it might also be analyzing my pitch coming out of your speakers. So to get the best, clearest reading, the thing to do would be to listen to me with headphones on. That way, your microphone on your device is only picking up your voice and what you're singing. So that might be what's going on. Okay, so go back here with me. Take a look at that D major scale, and we're going to test whether what I just told you is correct, that the whole, half, whole, half business remains the same. So I'm going to play the D major scale. So it started and ended higher than the C major scale did, but it sounded the same. The pattern is the same. And that's because the intervals are the same. So from D to E is a whole step. Happy birth. From E to F sharp. From F sharp to G is where we get our first half step. From G to A to B to C sharp. Those are all whole steps. And then our last half step, C sharp to D. Okay, so why are we focusing on the major scale so much? The two main scales used in Western contemporary pop music, and when I say pop, I really mean popular music, like not just pop proper, including R&B, including country, including musical theater, and including anything that's popular and modern, is built on the major scale or the minor scale. Um, the major scale, even not just contemporary music, but within music history, the major scale is just foundational. So if you understand the intervals they're in, if you're in the practice of singing these scales, which if you're warming up your voice, going through a vocal warm up, chances are you're using the major scale in some way. This helps to develop your sense of pitch as a singer. And when you're singing a song, even though songs don't just go through the scale, right? How boring would that be? Um, they do use sections of the scale. So a great example would be in Beethoven's Fifth, the melody going da 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 da. That is just walking through the major scale. Of course, there are repeats, there's directional changes, but it's 3, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 3, 2, 2, and going on. So, understanding these scales, knowing how to sing them, knowing if something is off. So, for example, if I sing 1, 2, 3, 4. Ooh, that wasn't right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All of this again is helping to develop your sense of pitch, your ability to sing in tune, your ability to understand and learn melodies quickly. And if you so desire, it's also setting you up well to learn how to read music yourself. Reading music is just pairing the visual information that we get from a piece of music with our ear training, our knowledge of intervals. I can't read a piece of music with half steps and whole steps if I don't first know ba ba is a whole step and ba ba is a half step. I can't decode that music as a singer without that prior knowledge. So anyways, let's do some more exercises together, some more listen and repeat practice. Let's return to the C major scale. And we're going to do just one part of it. We're going to sing up to 5 and then back down. It'll go like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Easy peasy. All right. The difference here is that then I'm going to change keys. So once we've sung that in the key of C, you're going to hear this. And then I'm going to play it in a new key, the key of C sharp or D flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And then again, you're going to hear a little key change. This is how basically every vocal warm up works. You start in one key using a section of the scale, and then you move to a new key. And so you're getting progressively higher or lower. All right. Starting in the key of C, here we go. Sing with me this time. No listen and repeat. We'll just sing together. At some point, I might drop out and you'll just be singing along with piano. But we're starting again on C4 or C3. 1, 2, ready, and sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Key change. Now we're in the key of D, and if you're following along, well, you might have to jump around on the page a little bit, but we're in the key of D now, so you can count or look D, E, F sharp, G, A. Here you go. Key of E flat. Key of E. Key of F. F sharp. G. Now at some point, because we're not just going to keep going up until no one can sing anymore. At some point, when you're doing a vocal warm up, it's going to turn around and go in the other direction. So that kind of key change would sound like this. All the pitches are getting lower. Okay, so that was key of G moving to the key of F sharp. Let's jump back in. 1, 2, ready, and sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. F sharp. E flat. D. C sharp. And C. Nice. Okay, so now we've walked up roughly half of the scale. Let's do the entire scale now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So we're doing a little bit of a different rhythm just to make it more musical and yeah, just sound a little better than just going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. So we're sustaining 1 and 8. This time I'm going to go lower. Okay, so I'm going to start in the key of C, and then I'm going to move to the key of B, and then B flat, and then A, and so on. 1, 2, ready, sing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 3, 2, 1. Let's do two more. Key of A flat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Key of G. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All right. So I hope it's becoming clear, even though you're progressively moving through different keys, a half step at a time, the pattern is staying consistent. So if you can sing a major scale, whatever one, that means you can sing any major scale. You just need to start on a different pitch and, of course, end on a different pitch as well. Okay, so now moving on, because our melodies don't always just walk through the scale, often they jump, right? So we're going to sort of walk on our way to jumping. This is an exercise that if you were ever in choir in middle school or high school, this will sound familiar to you. What we're doing is starting on 1, and we're just going to go back to the key of C to make things simple. We're going 1, then 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, 2, 1, and so on. So we're always starting at 1. We're going up 1 step and back down, up 2 steps and back down, up 3 steps and back down, until we get all the way to 8 and come back down. Then I will stop, reset us, and we'll start at the top at 8, 8, 8, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 7, 8, and we'll do the same thing. You ready? This requires just a little bit of focus and a little bit of counting. I'm going to take a drink of water. All right, good stuff. Ready? 1, 2, ready, sing. Maybe I should go slower. 1, 1, 2, 1. That was about okay. 1, 2, ready, sing. 1, 1, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, what I like about that exercise, not only are you practicing stepwise motion, but it's also a good exercise to train yourself that you don't need the same size breath for every phrase that you sing. So in the very beginning, 1, 1, 2, 1, you hardly need any breath to make it through that phrase. But by the time you're getting to 6 and 7 and 8, you need more. It's just a good reminder and a nice little exercise to help you train that. Okay, when the phrase gets longer, you might need a little bit more breath, but when it's short, you don't need to fill up with breath. No need. Okay, I hope that went well. Let me know how it went for you. I know sometimes just the counting confuses people. So we're going to start at the top at 8, 8, 7, 8, 8, 7, 6, 7, 8, and going on. By the way, if you are new here, the last 15 minutes are set aside for Q&A. So Sheila says it went well. I'm glad to hear that. So it is currently 11:30 a.m. my time. At 11:45, that's when we'll open it up for Q&A. So we have 15 minutes more of singing together, and then 15 minutes of Q&A at the end if you're here live. So here we go. Starting at either C5 or C4. 1, 2, here we go. eight, eight, seven, eight, eight, seven, six, seven, eight, eight, seven, six, five, six, seven, eight, eight, seven, six, five, four, five, six, seven, eight, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, eight, seven, six, five, four, three, two, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight. Woohoo! So that time I was not, even though I just talked about breath, I really wasn't that aware of my breath, and I needed more breath for the final phrase for sure. Okay, so I'm going to ask you to sing on your own now. I will play on the piano for you. But by the way, a really good way to make this an advanced exercise would be to not have the piano playing with you, just get your starting pitch and then kind of check in with the chromatic tuner or piano as you go. So, for example, an advanced way to do this would be I just get my one, one, two, one, one, two, three, two, one, one, two, three, four, three, two, one. But then I check in at some point. One, two, three, four, five. And I make sure that I'm in tune. Because what if I went one, one, two, one, one, two, three, two, one, and I'm not singing the actual scale. I'm just kind of singing the numbers. So if you're advanced and feel like you could do that, great exercise for you. If you're more intermediate and you're not quite sure but want a challenge, I would say try getting your starting note and then check in every few pitches. At the very least, check in halfway through the scale. So that would be, on five. When you're singing one, two, three, four, five, make sure your five is in tune. And then, of course, once you get to eight, one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, make sure that that is in tune as well. But there are some tricky pitches along the way, making sure that your 6 and your 7 are in tune. That's also worth checking on. Okay, so here you are with piano though. Are you ready? No me this time. 1, 2, ready, sing. Ready for descending, starting at 8. 1, 2, ready, go. Oh boy. Okay. So this is this is so funny for me. It's a great lesson in muscle memory. I know some people say like muscle memory doesn't exist. Um but I will just tell you I took piano in college. I had to take 4 semesters of piano basically just to make sure that I could play chords and scales. Every music major had to do that. Um and I don't remember practicing all that many different scales, but certainly the C major scale we had drilled into us. And I'm telling you, as we're playing these, I am not thinking about the fingering because you have to do, weird like crossing over and stuff with your fingers. I'm not thinking about it, but my hands know what to do. And it's a very cool feeling. It's very like I'm patting college me on the back for actually practicing. Um, and let that be encouragement for you as a singer as well. There are things that when you do them over and over again, it's like your body will know what to do, your jaw will know to drop, your tongue will know to come forward, whatever the thing is. That's why we practice. That's why, to build muscle memory, if you want to call it that. So you don't have to focus on technique. You don't have to be mindful of all of the things that we teach about. Um, you can forget about it. Your body knows what to do, and you can focus on lyrics and storytelling. So, anyways, um, moving on, more exercises. But first, Sheila's sharing. Sometimes I start with a song, then play to see if I'm matching pitches up the scale. Descending is still a little challenging. Yeah. Each of us, I think, have something that we struggle with. I can imagine that descending is more challenging for most people, just because when we think of a scale, we usually think about it going up. Do re mi fa sol la ti do. We don't really come back down. Do ti la sol fa mi re do. Um, and I know whenever I'm working with an individual student on something like this, just the counting backwards throws them for a loop. They're like, I just can't count backwards. So that's also normal. Okay, so we have walked through the scale. We're now going to jump. So instead of going 1, 2, 1, 1, 2, 3, we are just going to go 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5. Okay? But in the key of C, 1, there's our 1. So this time we won't say 1, 1, although that is an interval. It's called perfect unison. Um, but we're just gonna skip that. We're gonna go 1, 2 as our first interval, and then 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7. That's probably the trickiest one. 1, 8, and then we'll come down and do the same thing. Let's do listen and repeat for this one, just to start. So I will sing, then you will sing with piano on the repeat. Starting on C4 or C3. 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, 1, 7, 1, 8. Two things to point out. One, when we're singing 1, 8, we call that interval an octave. Should be obvious why. Octopus 8. We've just gone 8 steps. Other thing to point out, from experience, I can say that most people kind of struggle with the difference between 3 and 4. So going 1, 3, and then 1, 4. Sometimes things get weird around there, like 3, 4, 5. I'll also say 6 and 7 are sometimes tricky. The reason the 7th scale degree is tricky in particular, 1, 7, we call that interval a major 7th, and it's so close to an octave. It's so close. It's only a half step smaller that some singers will just go 1, 7 because an octave feels more natural for them. A major 7th has tension built in because it's moving toward that resolution. This is also called the leading tone because it's leading back to our home base. It's leading back to C. So if you struggle with that major 7th, 1, 7, you're not alone. One way to work on that is to pair it with a familiar song. So the song we typically use would be Take On Me by Aha. Take on. And then the next me, that's giving you 1, 7, 8. So that's a nice one. Another thing you can do is go to the octave, 1, 8, and then go down a half step. Ba, ba, ba. So if you find it's just impossible for you to find that major seventh, you can go to the octave, but then go down a half step to find it. Okay. Did we do the descending bungee yet? I don't think we did. Let's do it. Call this a bungee because we're going like this, and then this, and then this, and then this. So it's like you're bungeeing. Okay, starting on C5 or C4, listen and repeat. 8, 7, 8, 6, 8, 5, 8, 4, 8, 3, 8, 2, 8, 1. Okay, if you are ready, let's sing the whole thing without me this time. So just piano, like that. 1, 2, ascending first. 1, 2, 1, 3. Keep going. Opposite direction. 1, 2, descend. How'd it go? I hope it went well. Okay, that's another good exercise you would probably encounter in a choir of some sort. Um, so this major scale, so far, well, we started with what we call stepwise motion 1, 2, 3, and that just means we're moving one step at a time, either a whole step or a half step. We also have skips, leaps, jumps, where we're jumping around, but we're still within the scale. So, an example of that would be if we're singing instead of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, if we skip over 2 and 4, that gives us 1, 3, 5. And that's an arpeggio or a chord. So this is also how the chords within a scale are built. That's how you do it. Is you just start at one scale degree, skip over the next step in the scale. So let's do it together. Play C, skip D, play E, skip F, play G. Or in other words, 1, 3, and 5. That gives us the first chord that belongs in this key. If you go over to the next step or the next scale degree, start on 2, skip 3 and play 4, skip 5 and play 6. Now we're playing D, F, A, or 2, 4, 6. That gives us our next chord. And we can continue on up the scale doing the same thing. Okay, so if you're a songwriter or you're just interested how chords and the scale and the key all work together, that is how. All right, so we are at Q&A time. Go ahead, ask those questions. I'm here for it. So Sheila is sharing that she had surgery, and D sharp to F sharp 5 is pretty challenging. So I will say, Sheila, I'm not a doctor, I'm just a voice teacher. But I will say recovery after any type of surgery around your throat, um, that that can take a while. I don't know exactly how long to tell you, and your doctor might be the one to say, "Okay, you should have full range back by this time." But sometimes it's just frustratingly long. Um, I have friends who've gone through similar things, having procedures done, and it just takes, I mean, it can take months and months for them to get their full range back. I know that's discouraging, but it, hopefully it actually gives you a little peace of mind that you're probably well within normal. Um, but of course, if you think that things should be moving faster than they are, I would bring that up with your doctor. And they might even refer you potentially to a speech language pathologist or speech therapist um, who's a little bit more well versed in vocal rehabilitation. Um, that might be something that's available through your insurance and that I would definitely take advantage of. Ooh, wow. Yeah, 6 months to a year. Man, that's that's a long time. Um, I think the only encouragement I would give you or maybe advice that I would share, again, as a teacher, not a doctor, uh, would be that pushing yourself to go faster than that might not give you the benefit that you're hoping for. In the same way that if I had torn my Achilles, which I have a friend who ruptured their Achilles, if I had done that, the first thing I would need to do is just rest it completely. Um, I it would do more damage for me to start trying exercises while I'm still in the healing process. Um, so again, asking the doc would be a great idea. Um, See if there's any vocal rehabilitation that they would recommend. As a voice teacher, the first thing we usually go to is something like the straw, singing through a straw, submerging it maybe halfway in water. I'm trying to think of any other kind of voice rehab exercises. Typically, um, just because these are the gentlest ways to make noise, we would stick with semi-occluded or semi-closed sounds for as long as needed. And that's kind of the process that I follow when I'm sick or recovering. I'm not singing loudly. I'm not singing open vowels. I'm sticking with things that feel effortless for my voice. Sometimes that's the lip trill, the other times it's an NG sound. Mm. Um, so Kavisha is saying, my father always says that I'm not singing with my real voice. He tells me to sing in my speaking voice, but it's hard. So if I'm not singing with my speaking voice, is it wrong? Great question. Um, your speaking voice is a part of your singing voice, but it's not the entirety of your singing voice because we sing over a wider range than we speak. So if you speak and raise your pitch, so maybe you're kind of calling across the room and you're saying, "Hey guys, hey." Okay. So that pitch that I kind of found on, "Hey guys," it doesn't feel like my speaking voice is going to go much higher than that. "Hey." Nope, it's going to crack. So the highest that my speaking voice really wanted to go was right here. That's C5. But that's not the full range of my voice. I can sing higher than that. But that's not my speaking voice. That's now my head voice or falsetto, you might call it. So I would say the encouragement for you would be try some exercises that have you kind of speaking on pitch and getting connected to your speaking voice. Another word for that when we're talking about singing specifically is your chest voice. And I do have a video to share with you from our YouTube channel. It's a short one, so it's not terribly long. Let me find it real quick. Okay, so this video, and I'll write there, chest voice. I would check that out. It's again, it is a short one. It's 8 minutes, but it talks about what chest voice is, and then takes you through a few different exercises. Um, but essentially, the idea is we start with just speaking on pitch. So if you would say, "Hey guys," then you can sing, "Hey guys," or "Hey guys." And it sounds pretty similar to the speaking voice. We're not going, "Hey guys." That would be if I was singing using my head voice in my speaking voice range, if that makes sense. But start with that video. That'd be a good one. There's also another a live lesson on chest voice. So if you want more, then you could take a look at this one. And this is another live lesson. It's an hour long. Andy, is intonation practice for a beginning singer? Should it be my priority as a beginning singer because I'm still not confident with my singing voice? Um, Andy, I would say intonation practice is an excellent place to start because if we're singing with poor intonation, almost nothing that we do is going to sound that good. If I have great tone and stylization, but I'm not singing in tune, uh, I'll try to give an example for you. If I'm trying to sing, um, you know, there goes my heart beating, and you are the reason, but I'm going, there goes my heart beating, and I'm singing out of tune, it's going to clash with the chords being played. So I'd say it's an excellent place to start for a beginning singer, for sure. How to get a good tone in your voice when it comes to recording. After 13, my tone totally changed and I'm having problems with my vocal range. I can sing in chest voice but not in head voice. So that's pretty common, when we are around that age, our voices are deepening. Whoever you are, usually your voice is deepening in pitch. Um, so you can recover your head voice. You can. Um, but it might not feel as natural for you if your voice is deeper than it once was. Um, but I would say, let me find a video for you. Okay, so here is a short video on head voice to hopefully help you find that function. And then I also did an entire lesson on head voice and falsetto for male singers because usually male singers have a harder time finding their head voice. But even if you're a female singer, um, I think you would benefit from that as well. Um, Reason being, we're starting in a really easy head voice range and we're using sounds that are typically easy to find. So we're doing things like going woohoo or cuckoo. We're not jumping straight into just singing scales in head voice. We're first just reacquainting ourselves with that function of the voice. Um, Stephen or Stefan is asking, can you talk a little more about mix? Sure. So I think it's really helpful um, to understand the range in which we typically are targeting our mix. So for low voiced singers, the range to look at would be E flat and above. For higher voice singers, A flat and above. Um, it, to me, it was very confusing for a long time hearing people talk about mix and talking about mix throughout the range. It was just confusing. So it helped me to kind of target a specific range for working on mix. Um, Essentially, the ways that we go about it, we um, let me find you a video as well. because because it's a big topic to cover, and I've definitely covered it in more depth elsewhere. Um, so take a look at this lesson. That's another live lesson. It's mixed voice part 2. Um, there's other things on mix, but I would definitely start there. Essentially, if your tendency is to get shouty and carry chest voice up, so if you're just going, "Oh," and then your voice eventually breaks, the first step in developing mix would first just be transitioning in and out of your head voice. So, ooh, um, and then doing maybe some exercises like a sort of dopey mum 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 or bu 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 bu, something like that. If, on the other hand, your tendency is to flip into head voice, if you go, ah, maybe similar to what Kavisha was describing earlier, then typically the way that we start to develop that mix, and all mix is just we're singing with a balance or a blend of both our chest and head function. So it's not 100% speaking voice and it's not 100% that whoo light sound. Um, Again, if you're, breaking into head voice, "Ah," then typically what we'll use with singers like that are kinda bratty sounds or speaking voicey sounds. So we'll say, "Oh, no, you don't. Oh, no, you don't." Or we'll use "Na, na, 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 na," or "Wah, wah, 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 wah." Exercises like that that are, lots of fun, really annoying sounds. Um why do you get a lot of vocal fry? Oh, but just circling back, that link that I put in the live chat will cover all of that and more. So please do check that out. I think it'll help you. Why do you get a lot of vocal fry in your chest voice? Because a vocal fry is actually tied to a distinct register of the voice that's just below your chest register. So you're speaking, and then usually you're going to get vocal fry when your pitch dips down low, right? I don't get vocal fry when I'm singing or talking up high. No, I get it when I'm speaking and then my pitch is going down lower. Um, because that's another register of your voice. So you have from bottom to top, you have what's called the pulse register where you have vocal fry. And then you have your chest register, mix once it's developed, head voice, um, falsetto, flageolet, whistle for some singers. Um, and last question, I think, how do you sing with vibrato? Because I've been struggling with that. Um, Again, I have a few links for you because these will cover vibrato more in depth. Okay, so this is a whole hour on vibrato, and then also uh, troubleshooting vibrato issues. So do check both of those out. Um, Copy them, or when this video is done processing, it'll be in the live chat. um Vibrato is a naturally occurring phenomenon, so it's something that we do allow to happen, but it's not something that we train specifically for the most part. We don't shake anything or pulse anything. We don't go, we're letting our vibrato happen. There is this fluctuation in pitch, but we're not intentionally changing pitch back and forth, and we are not pulsing our abdomen. We are not shaking our jaw in order to get that fluctuation in pitch. You'll see in those videos, but some of my favorite ways to kind of kickstart your vibrato are using some silly sounds like a ghost wail, a ooh, or an about to cry voice, and you're getting emotional and getting, yeah, a little bit of that shake in your voice. Um, so, yeah, check those out. I do need to let you all go. I'm jumping into private lessons, but I will see you next time. Bye.